I think they call me the chicken lady.
I think you're right.
Come here, you Roxy.
This is a fantastic neighborhood to live in. There we go.
Tucked away in between UW-Milwaukee and the Milwaukee River rests a little neighborhood.
It's so gall-darn pretty there.
It's a very neighborhoody neighborhood.
It's too good.
It is great.
It's home to one of the most unique houses in Milwaukee.
We say things like, yeah, you know, the Milwaukee River did flood one time and it washed it up here and it just sat.
But the residents here know it as, among other things, the neighborhood next to the woods where the chickens roam.
People do have chickens, and Tina's are free range. They're everywhere in the neighborhood.
It's a hidden gem that the official Milwaukee neighborhood map calls Cambridge Heights, but the people who live here call it Cambridge Woods.
In some ways, you know, you don't want everybody in the whole world to know about this wonderful little neighborhood. You don't want it to be developed.
I met with Rebecca on a snowy single-digit day so she could show me her neighborhood through her eyes and experiences. Everywhere we went and who we talked to
Nice to see you.
was all up to her. There was no script to follow. Welcome to Rebecca's neighborhood.
It is a very small neighborhood. I can name a lot of the people who live here in this neighborhood, and I know them, and I know their dogs. Somebody else wanted to be on camera. Look at you.
And he's got his jammies on.
I guess so. So where we're off to is to see our neighbor Tim. So we're going to turn up this direction. Hey there, hi Tim.
Hi there.
Good morning to you.
Oh, I love the neighborhood. I've been here 32 years. So I was a student at Marquette, and I would take my bike for a bike ride, and I would come up the bike trail. And I would ride up the bike trail. I would look into this neighborhood and say, oh, that looks like an interesting place to live. I had no idea that 10 years later I'd be coming back here. So I don't need to get in a car. It's so walkable. You know, if I need to go to the post office, I can walk to the post office. If I need to go to a restaurant, there's a bunch of them in the neighborhood. Everything I need is kind of here. See you, Rebecca.
Okay, Tim, good to see you. Bye. Colectivo. They are roasting today, so the aroma of coffee just permeates. Today's Tuesday, and that is a regular coffee roasting day.
I just thought that was somebody's cooking or something.
Uh-huh.
How far away are they?
They're pretty much across the river. Deb Heim is in the next block up.
Well, about time you got here.
Thank you.
I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in Orlando, I've lived in Virginia, we've lived in Texas, I've lived outside of Boston. This is my favorite town I've ever lived in, ever. And this is my favorite part of my favorite town. They are like second and third generations living in the neighborhood. And then we have young families who've come in when we've done our potlucks. Suddenly we had this influx of all these little kids.
Right now we are on our way to Kathy Arney's house. Yeah, I know. Hi there, Lucy.
My dog is very protective until she knows that she doesn't have to kill you. Then she relaxes. In the chair you're sitting in right now, I meditate and look out at my woods. We go down to the woods pretty often, and that's where I most feel like, where am I? And then I'll look in the distance and I'll see the tallest building we have in Milwaukee, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the city. It's so peaceful and serene here, and it's wonderful looking across at the woods.
I hear them telling these stories about how, yeah, that used to be a real boat, and then it is here, but what the truth is, it was built by a man on a foundation. It is much more enjoyable, I would think, to be in our house living and looking out the windows at the boat than to be in the boat living, because it is tiny inside. So we'll go around the corner here because she's got the chickens.
Hello,
No, come out, come out.
Rebecca.
Tina!
Come here, sweetheart.
Most can't believe it, but yes, they do live outside in these conditions. I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I've lived in a lot of places. I've traveled a lot in Africa and South America, where it's very normal to have chickens around. And I guess I always wanted chickens, and everything fell into place. People tend to know we have a really active neighborhood, and so people, if they're in a meal program and they know that something hits the ground, they can't serve it anymore, summer meals through MPS or that will sometimes appear on my porch. Oh, you have been in business. Why, thank you.
As the tour of Cambridge Woods came to an end, I had one last question for Rebecca.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about your neighborhood?
That it's an absolute pleasure to live in, and it's exciting, it's interesting. All of those qualities I would describe for Cambridge Woods.